The hot new trend, on-demand RV water heaters. That's what we're going to be talking about today and staying on the road. But before we get into that, we're going to hit the enjoying the RV life segment. And today we're going to talk about Jace medical cases. A Jace case is a must-have. And then we're going to go into the next stop and visit Biloxi, Mississippi. And then in RV Envy, we're going to talk about the Lippert Latch Extend Door Lock. This is Eric Stark with the Smart RVer Podcast, delivering the smarts you need to enjoy the freedom of the RV lifestyle without the fear of breaking down. Let's talk everything RV. Today is episode 154, so let's dig right into this. Now, I'd welcome Alexis at this point, but she's not here today. She's taking a little holiday, but that's the way it goes. So it's just me. So I got to cover all this. Hopefully I can do it the same justice. It's easier with two people, but we'll see how it goes. Now, for those of you who are watching some of this on YouTube, because the Staying on the Road section gets put out onto YouTube, we're behind on that. We have so much other going on, but it does get out there. And if you see the video, my eyes aren't always looking at the camera because we have a unique setup here. We got monitors showing our cameras. We have more than one camera. We have screens with text on it, reminders, websites. So my eyes are sometimes all over the place because I'm looking at things, and that's the way I am. I'm always looking for a way out. Yeah, I go into a store, I find the emergency exit right away. Always got to have an escape plan, right? Well, maybe not. But let's get into the show today, and let's talk everything RV. So we're going to start with enjoying the RV life. As travelers, we need to be prepared. Now, we can't be prepared for every single emergency that comes up. That's impossible. There's so many different things. But we can be prepared to the best of our ability. And sometimes simple little things get overlooked. Jace Medical makes this product called a Jace case. And I don't know if we've talked about this or not in the past. It's something that's been on my radar for a while. It's on our website, it's smartrver.com. If you go there, there's a link to jacemedical.com. And I believe there's a discount code there, so you can save a couple of bucks when you buy one of their Jace cases. And it's an affiliate link, so hey, I might make a buck or two as well. We appreciate you using the affiliate links off our website. It helps pay for the show. It all adds up because the show does not make money. We are doing this solely because we like doing it. Now, if someone wants to pay us to do the show, certainly we'll take their money. But anyways, back to Jace case. So a Jace case, if you go check it out, it comes with certain products in it, prescription type products, medical products. So if you're out traveling, you have this case with you. And if something goes wrong, you have a certain thing that happens, the medication will probably be in the Jace case to help you get through the situation. Like one of the things they have in there is amoxicillin. Some of these words I can't even pronounce. I'm not even going to try because they're medications. You know how that goes. But there's amoxicillin, and that's going to treat different things like pneumonia, if you have a dental infection, sinusitis. That sounds like something they made up on the Seinfeld show. Sinusitis. These things come up. These things happen. You get pneumonia on the road? Maybe not, but a dental infection? Sure. Sinusitis? I guess that has to do with sinus problems. There's these other medications. Like I said, most of them I can't even pronounce. I'm not even going to bother. But they treat different things. Tinnitus. If you get bit by an animal or an insect. Dental infection, strep throat, ear infection, Lyme disease. Lyme disease can go bad pretty darn quick if you do get it. Traveler's diarrhea, I guess that's different than regular diarrhea. Middle ear infection, exposure to anthrax. Now that would be kind of ugly, wouldn't it? Be exposed to anthrax. Giardia, bacteria problems. So Jace case is easier if you just go to their website and check it out. Now, I think the Jace case, they're a little spendy, but I think it's a must-have product because you have these things on hand. You can share it with your spouse. And one thing about prescription-type drugs, they have expiration dates on them, but right on their website, it explains how expiration dates work. Most medicines that expire, let's say within a year, they actually have a shelf life of 2 or 3 years. And that's how governments get away with stockpiling some medicines. They keep it past that expiration date because they know it's still good. They don't tell us this kind of stuff, but this is what we learned when we listened to the Smart RVer podcast. So I recommend going to Jace Medical, stop by the smartrver.com, click on the link there. If you would decide to buy something, use our affiliate link. But it's a great product to have because you're traveling, you don't know what's going to happen out on the road, what infection or problem you might have. And isn't it nice if you don't have to worry about going to the doctor, or maybe there's not a doctor nearby, or, there's always circumstances where it's just easier sometimes if you could pop some pills. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? But, just taking some meds and you cure the problem without having to go to a doctor, traveling hundreds of miles, going to the doctor. And how it is sometimes. You're like, do I really need to go to a doctor? I really don't want to waste the time, spend the money. So Jace Medical can help with that, a Jace case. It is a must-have for travelers. So now let's get into staying on the road. Oh, wait a minute. I already said that. Go check out their website, or actually stop by the smartrver.com. Click the link, take you to Jace Medical, and see what they have to offer. And they have some great stuff in there, too. So check it out. All right, now let's get to staying on the road. See, when I do this show by myself, I lose track of where I'm at and everything else. Just kidding. I know what's going on all the time. I'm the Smart RVer. So today, the hot trend is on-demand or tankless RV water heaters. We've been selling a lot of these lately. Everybody's asking about them, and they're not new, but they're catching on now. A lot of RVs are coming with them. They're becoming more popular. It's talked about. A lot of people have been buying residential ones, putting in their RVs, which I don't recommend that. They don't work as well. They're going for cheap. They buy them on that ghetto of a online shopping center where they get them dirt cheap, no warranty, catch on fire, burn down your RV. Hey, maybe that's what you want, though. Collect a little insurance money. Not suggesting that, just reporting on what could be happening. So stick to main brands. And these on-demand water heaters are truly a cool little deal. If you don't want to mess with a conventional water heater anymore, maybe it's not meeting your needs, you want to upgrade, do something different, well, the on-demand water heaters built for RVs are out there. And there's 4 brands we're going to talk about today. Fogatti, which is Fogatti, Fogatti. Sounds like a car, right? Well, it's not a car. It's a tankless on-demand RV water heater. And we're going to talk about Suburban, which has been a staple in RV water heaters for decades. And then Girard on demand. Now, Girard had a Girard awning. Girard was the cat who invented the A&E awning, the manual awning. So Girard's been around a long time. Now, Girard has been bought by Lippert. Girard is still a good product. We'll have to give it some time and see if Lippert decides to make it better. Yeah, these big companies, sometimes they go to make something better and, well, they actually ruin it. It happens. So we'll see what happens there. But right now, Girard's a good one. Now, Furrion's another one, and interestingly enough, Furrion is owned by Lippert, and Furrion still makes great products. I love their backup camera systems, their rear observation systems. They're awesome. That's our camera of choice. So Furrion's a good brand, even though they're owned by Lippert. And Lippert does make good stuff. They just sometimes do stupid things like everybody else, all these big companies. They know so much more than we'll ever know, even though we're the RVers and they're not. Isn't that just amazing how that works? On-demand water heaters are just that. You turn on your water heater and that puppy kicks in and starts supplying you hot water instantly. And how does it do that? Well, they're propane operated. So you're going to have propane. You're going to have 12 volts, which most of you have that anyways because you already have a water heater, a modern water heater that has both those items right there. Now, these puppies use more propane, more BTUs to heat the water. But it's, they're still supposed to be more efficient because they're not heating water all the time. And each brand has their unique spin on these water heaters. Some of them are very similar. I mean, they're all very similar, but sometimes they have functionality that Suburban, let's say, might not have, where a Girard would have it. Now, even though Girard and Furrion are both owned by Lippert, they're 2 distinctly different water heaters. Same with Suburban. They have 2 different lines of on-demand water heaters. They have the Advantage and the ST series. And they're different. One's much better than the other. And Furrion, they have basically the same water heater, just on their website, they have different configurations. When you buy these things on the manufacturer's website or online, they don't sell the doors and stuff separately. They just combine it all together and sell it as a package price, where if you go to a store like us, you have, let's say, an Atwood water heater in there now. You want to replace it and go to one of these on-demands. Well, we sell the water heater and then the door kit that fits the Atwood or Suburban. In this case, because you have an Atwood, you'd get the door kit for the Atwood. Online, they just kind of bundle it all together. It's the same thing, though. Whether you buy it at a store or online, you're getting the same thing. There's nothing special about the water heaters. In fact, shop local. Go to your local RV store. Hopefully, they have some on display where you can touch them and feel them. We do. We've got them all spread out on a bench. You can see every model from all four of these brands that we carry. We carry the Fagatti, the Suburban, the Girard, and the Furrion. Okay, so we have them all. Now, it doesn't mean every store is going to, and that's okay. They all kind of hook up very similarly. They work the same, as far as installing it, it's going to go pretty much the same no matter what. It's not a straightforward installation. The water lines off your Suburban or Atwood water heater are not going to just screw right into the back of these water heaters. The fittings are off to one side or the other. So now, depending on your plumbing, how it was put in, you might be able to move the lines over, just move them over, or you might have to add some extensions to them. Now, if you can find extensions that are flexible, that are 1/2-inch female pipe thread on one end and 1/2-inch male pipe thread on the other, you're probably going to be able to just install it. No big deal. They have to be able to deal with hot water, so you got to keep that in mind. You don't want cold water ones. You want hot water extensions. Or you can just get PEX, that type of fittings from your local RV store, and just build some extensions out. Or maybe you just want to cut out some of the plumbing and redo it, clean it up, make it better. Just depends on what you're doing, what water heater you have, and what one you're upgrading to. So I kind of jumped ahead a little bit there rather than the specifications of the water heaters, but that's all right. The installation's important. Now, because of time constraints, we can't cover all of the functionality of the water heaters, all of them anyways. But I'm going to tell you this. Fagatti, Suburban, Girard, and Furrion, they're all good water heaters. You couldn't go wrong with any one of them as far as quality goes. Now, one thing you do need to know is some of them are built for different temperatures, different climates. Like if you're in the desert, your water's always going to come out of the ground hot. If you're in Arizona, New Mexico, the desert areas. Southern California, the water is going to be warm, generally above 70 degrees. Then let's say a Fagatti lower line one, if you're always in an area like that, it'll work great. But now if you're in an area where your water that comes out of the ground or maybe out of a well and it's 30 degrees, 40 degrees, you're probably going to want one of the better water heaters like a Suburban, their Advantage series, or the Girard/Lippert one. They work with colder water. They're going to heat quicker and heat more efficiently. If you take that cold water and let's say run it through the base model of a Fagatti, you're just going to have warm water. You're not going to have hot water. It'll be warm water. You can take a shower in it, but it's not going to be hot. So those are things to consider when you're buying one of these. And most people don't realize that because they just think it's one size fits all, and it doesn't. In fact, Suburban, their ST series, well, I talked to Suburban. They said, you really don't want to mess with these. And not that they're poor quality. It's just that's what a lot of new RVs come with. And it's the lower level one. The Advantage series is much better than the ST series. The ST series is an on-demand water heater, but in a lot of applications, you might only get warm water and not hot water because it's not the same or not as strong. The BTUs aren't the same as an Advantage from Suburban. Now, the Girard water heater is kind of right up there with the Suburban Advantage. You're going to get hot water. It's that on-demand hot water. You have to mix it down to make it a little bit colder, just like the Suburban Advantage. So those two work great. The Furrion, is going to give you that warmer water. It's not going to be super hot depending on what the water temperature is going in. The BTUs are higher though. But even Fagatti is more of an entry-level brand, I think. It's a good brand, but they do have higher BTU ones. They don't get as high as Suburban and Girard, but they do have higher BTU. I think they go up to 50 or 55,000. Girard and Suburban are 60,000 and possibly more. Like I said, there's a lot to all these, and I don't want to click back and forth between all our websites while I'm talking to you guys and try to not figure it out, but refresh my memory, although here I'm doing it now. And the gallons per minute, they're all 2.4 gallons per minute, which is fine. That's going to do what you need to have done. You're going to have hot water, plenty of it. There's not going to be a problem there. Now, one thing I have heard of, and this has come in from the field, is that sometimes the water will be really hot, then you start running out of water heater and the pressure starts getting low. That can be due to the water pump. So you do have to have a good water pump in your RV. So depending on the age of your water pump, you might want to just upgrade it when you do the water heater. Keep that pump you took out as a spare possibly, just in case it works, or if you have another project, or heck, just throw it away, whatever. Just making suggestions here. But these things are really nice. And now when you buy them, Fagatti, Girard, and Furrion come with a wall-mounted thermostat controller where you can control everything. And it has to be mounted near the water heater. You're probably not going to run this try to hide wires and run it someplace farther away. But if you put it right in that area where the water heater is, it makes for an easy installation, usually easy access, and you got something to control it. Now, the Suburban Advantage, its controller is sold separately, just like its doors are. Now, all the water heaters, like I said, on these manufacturers' websites, they sell direct, but they sell them in bundles. When you come to a store, they're probably just going to sell you the door separately, the water heater separately. Price-wise, it all works out the same. You get the same components. But Suburban, their Advantage series, you buy the door separately. There's a vent that goes on the door. You buy that separately, depending on the thickness of the RV's wall. The Suburban one has a little more to it, and I kind of like it the best. That's where I would put the Smart RVer seal of approval. The Lippert one is right behind it, or Girard/Lippert. It's right there. Furrion and Fagatti, I think, are very similar in quality. Like I said, though, they come with the controllers other than the Suburban. Suburban, you got about a couple extra parts, but not a big deal. And, I mentioned these door kits. So if you have a 10-gallon water heater in your RV right now, and you're going to replace it, these on-demand water heaters are the size of a 6-gallon. So they're approximately 15 by 15, where your 10 gallons is probably going to be, I think it's 18 by 18. It's bigger. And that's where the door kits come into play, because they have fillers or spacer panels in them that make it look like your factory installed water heater. So you don't have to cut out the side of your RV. You don't have to find a way to fill it in, reskin it or anything like that. These door kits solve the aesthetics problem. So if you have a 10-gallon, you're going to get the water heater the size of a 6, but they provide the door kit that makes it look like you still have a 10-gallon water heater. And it's important you know that, because you might be thinking, well, gosh, I don't want to have to do some major body work for this. Well, you don't have to. And if you have an Atwood water heater, which we all know, the Atwood water heaters that were, basically 16 by 18, I think that are 12 by 18. I forget the size now. I got too many numbers in my head today. But it's the one that's rectangular. It's a 6-gallon. That particular Atwood water heater, which, was bought by Dometic, and then Dometic started putting their name on it too to confuse it even more. But that particular water heater is obsolete. And that's where the Atwood door kit comes in, because it makes it look like you still have that rectangular shaped water heater, because it comes with a new door, and that kit fills in the panels, makes it work. I'm probably explaining this a little more than I need to, but it's important you understand that. I don't want you to panic and think, oh my word, what am I going to do to the side of my RV? These things are simple. They're very easy to install. They're not complex at all. You already got propane there. You got 12 volts there. Like I said, with the plumbing, you have to move some things around. Getting back to the water heaters in general, what I recommend you do, think about where you're going RVing, what the water temperatures are when you're there at the campground or wherever you camp. Maybe you just fill up your tank and you're going off your stored water. You're not someplace where you have hookups. Just consider all that and buy the water heater that's going to work for you. Now, I'm not saying you go out and buy the Suburban one to cover all scenarios. That might be overkill for what you do. Same with the Girard one. It might be overkill. The ST series from Suburban, it's kind of an entry-level one, but heck, if it works for you, it works for you. Who cares? It's a nice little water heater. Same with the Fagattis. Their entire line is nice, and they're a little bit cheaper than the other brands. And we've been selling a lot of those. We've had no complaints. In fact, we've been selling all of these with no complaints. Everybody loves them, and they're easy to install. And I know when we sell something, when someone goes out the door with it, if they have problems installing it, before they go anywhere else, they come back to us, and it becomes our problem. And these things have not become a problem at all, which we like that. When we sell something for someone to install and they don't come back with a problem, we love it. That means that product's easy to install. They can figure it out. It's not complex. And all of these products, you can get the installation instructions off the manufacturer's websites. You can see how to winterize them, which is important to know. Depending on where you live, winterizing might be a big thing. And some of these water heaters even have freeze protection. So if it's in the wintertime, you're living in your RV or you're out using your RV, and it's in freezing conditions, and it senses that it's going to freeze, it'll either turn off or drain the water out, which is very important. It protects itself, which that's good to know because a lot of people, I know here in Montana, a lot of people live in their RVs year-round because of housing, the housing problems, too expensive or not enough housing. And they're living in their RVs, and they might have one of these water heaters in there, They maybe came with it or they want to upgrade to it. Those are important things for them to know about. But if the winter doesn't matter, if you don't need to winterize, that if you live in that climate or you do need to winterize and you're not going to use it during the wintertime, they all have instructions how to store them in the freezing cold conditions or in the mild conditions. Check it out. Go to the websites. That's Fagatti, that's Suburban, Girard, which is Lippert, and Furrion, which is also Lippert. If you go to their websites, you're going to see it all. Again, I brought this out in the last episode. If you have any questions or topics that you want me to talk about in the podcast or answer for you, could be both, let me know. Go to the smartrver.com. You can call us, you can text us, you can email us, ever how you want to get a hold of me and share it with me, and we'll answer your question long before it ever gets on one of the episodes, so you're not sitting and waiting. So do that. We've gotten a few things in, and they're getting compiled here, so we're hitting those in the next episodes as they come up, as we have time for them, because a lot of our episodes are already planned out weeks or months in advance. So now let's go to the next stop and talk about Biloxi, Mississippi. So we're going to go to the south. And a lot of people know about Biloxi because of military background, history, training, things like that. But it's also a great place that's just filled with history. It's enriched with history. And for an RVer, these are great places to go because you can explore, you can learn. Man, the coast there's the coastal beauty. There's a lot to see and do there. Besides the wonderful, pristine beaches, there's places to eat. You have the history, the things that took place there in the past. I'm trying to find something here in my notes about, one of the past presidents. Oh, yeah, Jefferson Davis right here. So that's where he lived. His home is still there. You can explore it. Forget the politics. Just go check it out, right? Politics are a big thing today. We know that. But this is non-political. It's just going to look at a historical figure's home, where he lived, how he grew up, what life was like then. You can see it firsthand. And it's interesting stuff. It's old. It's historical, so it's worth checking out. And of course, there's nightlife there. There's things to do 24 hours a day, really, like so many of the places we recommend. Well, maybe not 24 hours a day, but you know what I mean. Biloxi's a great place for RVers. It's going to cater to all types of personalities and things that you like to do, different ages, different backgrounds. We know not every place is perfect for everybody, but we think Biloxi's a great place that's going to cater to a large crowd. And for an RVer, man, what a place to go. Anytime you can get in your RV and get out somewhere, isn't it great? You know, we hear a lot of complaints about RVs. Heck, I even complain about RVs. But RVs are absolutely awesome. They really, really have a place in our life. And if you like to travel and you like to explore the U.S., I mean, there's so much to see here. RVs are the way to go. So that's my plug for RVs. I do really like them. I know I'm in the industry, and I'm not just saying that because, believe me, you guys have heard the show. I talk about the bad side, too, the problems that manufacturers have. So I'm not just trying to give you a sales pitch here. It's the reality of it. And to help making the RV lifestyle we have the RV Envy portion of the show, which is where we're at right now. And today we're going to talk about this entrance door handle called Latch Extend. It's made by Lippert Components, same guys that make the water heater for Girard and Furrion. It's kind of a unique handle. It's made, the lock is made by Global, and they make great entrance door locks for travel trailers. In fact, if you have an FIC lock and the keys are all sticky and jammy, don't work very well, get a Global. The keys go right in, works every time. Great little upgrade. But now the Latch Extend improves upon that. It's the same lock, but it has a 14-inch handle coming down the bottom of it. And we have a YouTube video out, which I'll put a link to it on this episode so you can see that video. So you can see the handle. And it's 14 inches long. So if you, sometimes getting on the steps and grabbing that door, you're kind of close to the door, makes it awkward, especially if you're holding something. Well, now you can just kind of reach up, and you don't have to reach as high. You can just reach at the lower portion of the door and pull on the handle and unlock the door and step in. It's great for kids, carrying stuff. It's a safety feature is really what it is. You can go to our website. It's at sunpromfg.com. We have it there. It's right on the homepage. And it's called Latch Extend. That's extend without an E. It's one word, Latch, Latch, Extend, Xtend. It's a great entrance door lock with the 14-inch handle built into it for travel trailer doors. It will not work on motorhome doors. It's for travel trailers and fifth wheels. So check that out. You got to see this. So the link to our YouTube video will be here. Unless you go to YouTube and you just type in the Smart RVer Podcast, the Smart RVer, you can find it on our YouTube channel under Fast Tip Friday videos. It's there. Cool little product. Highly recommend checking it out. Now we're coming to the end of the show. In our next episode, which will be out in 2 weeks, is talking about sealants. In fact, how on earth do I decide what sealants to use and where on my RV, when, why, how? This guy says that, this guy says this. What sealants do I use? So we're going to cut through that nonsense and explain to you what sealants to use where. On the side of the RV, the roof, what things to stay away from, what types of sealants, like silicone. Silicone sucks. I'm anti-silicone. So we will see you the next time. So this is Eric Stark, and I want to thank everybody for stopping by today and listening to the show. It's been awesome to hang out with you and just be able to talk about RV stuff. So if I don't see you on the road, let's connect at the smartrver.com.